Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Tagore Premanande.
I always to part Paramahansa Parvatakarya, Asatari Satasisi Mother's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I always to part Paramahansa Parvatakarya, Asatari Satasisi Mother's Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Adanta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Namacharya Shalaridas Thakur ki jai. Premsi Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda ki jai. Shri Shiva Radha Krishna Gopinath Shai Mukund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Tulasi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Harinam Sankirtan ki Australia Yatra ki I forgot where I was for a minute. Where am I now? I'm in. Yes, Australia Yatra ki Sydney Yatra ki Srila Prabhupada ki all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Shrutakirti Mataji ki. Dandavat pranams to everyone. Dandavat pranams to Prabhu. Dandavat pranams to Mataji. It's such a rare and glorious opportunity that we have got to have darshan and association from both Prabhu and Mataji. And I'm very privileged to glorify the devotees today, our esteemed guests. So Prabhu is a very revered figure in International Society of Krishna Consciousness. No wonder why. Because he has been the personal servant of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. He has served him as his personal servant for more than 2.5 years. Through his nectarian lectures, he has delivered the jewels, he has delivered the glories of Prabhupada's pastimes, his habits, his mission, his mood, his teachings, his mission, and even through his book. And what's the name of the book? What's the Difficulty? Which was published in 2003. He has distributed those jewels of Prabhupada's glory for all of us fallen souls. He was born in 1951 in Philadelphia. It's confirmed. And he was raised in Catholic belief. And he was an altar boy since the time he was born. Because he would ring the bells in the altar in the church. So ever since he has been a spiritual being. But the deal was locked in 1971 when he met Hare Krishna devotees on Earth Day celebration. Some happiness here, like I need Haribols. And he was getting trained, please correct me if I'm wrong, at any point. I don't use the notes, but I have to so that I'm clear with what I'm saying. So he was getting trained in New Vrindavan in West Virginia. And after some time, he was given an opportunity, straight up front, just with 3 instructions, because there was no disciple course. So just 3 instructions and 9-hour duration. And then his job of being Prabhupada's personal servant was done. He served Prabhupada and traveled with him around the globe for 1.5 years. And then he got married to a beautiful Vaishnavi, our great Vishaka Mataji ki. After that, again, the same glorious, wonderful, beautiful opportunity came to him to be Prabhupada's personal servant. And within 30 seconds he said, yes! And that counts to be 2.5 years in 2 parts. That's when he served Prabhupada 24/7 on his toes. And no wonder Prabhupada loved him as his dear, dear, dear servant. Prabhu has served in many other ways, in different managerial positions. He has been temple president of Hawaii. And right now he's serving in HR department in Vrindavan. Since 5 years, he has been residing in Sri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai with Her Grace Vishakha Mataji. And now, as he's residing in the Dham, he's also traveling across the world so that he can pass on those jewels of Srila Prabhupada to all of us. And hence he's here with us today to bless us all. And one more important thing that I shouldn't miss here is that Prabhu's way of delivering nectarian lectures, as he relished all those pastimes again, as he narrate them, is so touching to everyone that once in 2003, at Radharani's birthplace, he was giving the lecture, and he continued for 5 hours, and 2,000 people did not move. And this is going to be evident really, really soon. Before we start and hear from Prabhu, I just want to recite a little narration, I would rather say, if I have your permission. O glorious servant, the servant of the Master, the messenger and witness of his Nitya Leela gesture, please bestow your mercy onto us, deliver a jewel of prema from your huge cluster. O glorious servant, the servant of the Master, the messenger and the witness of his Nitya Leela gesture. You have drank the nectar from the ocean of mercy, and I am hankering for a drop. You have drank the nectar from the ocean of mercy, and we are hankering for a drop. O dear Vaishnava, bestow your mercy to set us free from the Maya robe. O glorious servant, the servant of the Master, the messenger and the witness of his Nitya Leela gesture. A little bird with the fragile wings can't reach the sun, so please be the connecting path. Convey the appeal and plead of this fallen soul to the Master of your heart. O glorious servant, the servant of the Master, the messenger and the witness of his Nitya Leela gesture.
Very nice introduction. Thank you very much. You saw, I even forgot the name. I remember, but I forgot. I couldn't even remember being in Sydney. It reminded me 50 years ago when I was with Srila Prabhupada. I mentioned that this morning, I believe. I wanted to ask how many attended Zoom class this morning? I see you. Okay, very nice, very nice. And last night, a few of you I also know were at the program last night. Who was at the program last night? Just a few of you. We had a very nice program last night at the temple. And as I said, when I was traveling with Prabhupada, and in March 1975, he ended up at Atlanta, the temple in Atlanta. Beautiful Sri Gaurnatai deities there, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and also Radha Shyamasundar were there. Radha, you know the name in Atlanta? Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, there in Atlanta. So Prabhupada stayed there for 3 days. And on his arrival lecture, as he was traveling, he had been in Hawaii, and Prabhupada said, we were in Hawaii, he said, then we went to Mexico City, then we went to Caracas, and then he looked at me and said, and then I said, Miami, he said, Miami, he said, and now we're here in Atlanta. So that's what happens when you travel. You can't even remember here, there, but everywhere Krishna, everywhere Sri Sri Gauranatai, and for us, everywhere Srila Prabhupada. So just like now I'm here in Sydney, and we did programs at the temple over the weekend. This morning we had another program, another group in Sydney, and now here. And now I know this evening I'm doing another program, I think with maybe another group. All these groups, only one group. And just this, I put this not to try to sell my book. I didn't bring any books, so I don't even have any books to distribute here. But wherever we have altered, Srila Prabhupada, I had to have Srila Prabhupada there, so I said, put some book there with Srila Prabhupada. So this is your book, Mataji, yes, Prabhu, I see your book, that they also purchased many years ago, 2011, I think you said. This was the original printing of the book. But the reason was everything, we're all connected together. You may have different groups here in Sydney like they did in Perth. So many different groups were there, Bhakti Prakash groups. Same thing in Melbourne. Went to one program here, one house program here. Prabhupada talked about this, unity in diversity. Very important to understand. Diversity is there, just like Gopal Krishna Maharaj. How many temples, anyone know how many temples in Delhi, just in the Delhi area? Yeah, it's up to 20. 17, I think, finished and some are under construction. 20 temples in Delhi. But they're all unified. All unified by Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and of course ultimately by Srila Prabhupada. So it's okay, diversity is there. I know traveling in Delhi, get one place to another can take you 2 hours just to get from one area in Delhi to another area in Delhi. So for the devotees, very important that they have access to Srila Prabhupada's temples. And I hope as the future goes on, we're hoping to come again. I can see coming here, I can see how important it is. The devotees are able to get training according to Srila Prabhupada's instructions. And of course, that training has to come from people that understand Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Hopefully, as she said, 2.5 years with Prabhupada, I have a very good understanding what Srila Prabhupada wanted. And what he wants that all of you follow his instructions. You can open up a temple, you can construct a temple, but you have to know what to do. And you have to know that we're all connected. Diversity can be there, but we're not fighting one another, we're helping one another. Our business is fighting Maya. Maya's everywhere. As she said, we live in Vrindavan, 5 years in Vrindavan. Vrindavan, where Krishna appeared. Believe me, Maya's there in Vrindavan. And she's trying to distract everyone from Krishna consciousness, just as she's here. She's everywhere. Prabhupada said Krishna's backside. Literally, we call the bottom sometimes in English, we say the backside. But also it means the other side, backside of Krishna. Maya is there. So unless we're seeing Krishna, unless we're Krishna conscious, we're in Maya. That moment. It was here in Australia. I've seen the video so many times. I've seen that young brahmachari, Prabhupada, at the end of his classes in Australia. You had a very special concession at the end of the classes because there were evening programs just like you're doing in halls. Visa would rent halls. Outsiders would come. And Australians, they were very confrontational. Prabhupada would say they were ready to argue. Visa, he would field the questions sometimes. Sometimes he would answer the questions as Prabhupada was sitting there. And watch these videos here in Australia. Wonderful videos they are. But they were asking questions. It's not a bad thing. That's what you do. You ask questions. Until you're initiated, then your only question is, how can I serve you? I saw that this morning. No hard and fast rules in chanting Hare Krishna. That's true. Until you're initiated, then the rules, this many rules and regulations are there. So you can't say that same thing your whole life. Oh, there's no hard and fast. Yes, there are hard and fast rules. In the temple, there's many rules and regulations we have. For the disciple, many rules. Prabhupada said, must attend Mangal Artik, must be up for the morning program. Even at your home, also a temple. Your home's a temple. That was Prabhupada's method, wherever you are. And I've been in different homes in this travel through Australia. Every home is a temple. Mataji's are cooking. Where I am now, Prabhuji, every morning he's doing samsara prayers. Tulsi Devi is there, making an offering to the deity is there. So this is our process. We're not in competition with one another. We're all helping one another. I said that last night in the temple. Prabhupada made it so that we encourage one another in our Krishna consciousness. It's like Prabhu this morning in class asking what to do, because sometimes difficulties are there, even with our own congregation. But our business has always set very nice example. And if you see someone struggling, we want to help them. Doesn't matter, North Sydney, West Sydney, East Sydney, no Sydney, whatever it is. Prabhupada said that. That was also here in Australia. If you study the history in ISKCON Australia, it was a struggle from the very beginning. There's one devotee, Krishna Maharaj. If you look into our ISKCON history, you may see or may not see what was going on. He was originally a disciple of Sai. You ever hear of Sai? He became Siddhaswarupananda Goswami. Prabhupada gave him first initiation, second initiation, sannyas initiation. Maybe not all at the same time, but one after the other, very, very quickly. Because he was a leader. He was Sai. He was a Kundalini yogi. And he was very good. He was yogi in his last life. If you practice Kundalini yogi, you must have had prior experience. Just like sometimes we see, I just seen on social media this girl playing the, what is, not tambura, the sitar. Lifetimes, Prabhupada said, he said that, everything's leaving me this morning. Ravi Shankar, he said he'd been playing sitar for 9 lifetimes. You don't just become expert. So now there's young girls, you're supposed expert. Many, many lifetimes are going through. One after the other become better, better, better. Just like we do sometimes in Krishna consciousness. I see some of the youth, some of the young ones. No doubt they were practicing Krishna consciousness in previous lifetime. Some of them, no doubt, they were Srila Prabhupada disciples in past lifetime. And they bring that with them. They didn't finish the business in their last lifetime. It was in Hawaii, 1975, also 50 years. So many celebrations, anniversary, 50-year anniversary. Srila Prabhupada. I traveled with them around the world. That 1975, I was with them. First 7 months of 1975. And he was in Hawaii on a morning walk. And on the walk, morning walks were very, very nice with Srila Prabhupada. He would speak about things that sometimes we didn't hear in the classroom. And he was saying, devotee, if he doesn't finish his business in this lifetime, he comes back. We've seen it. He says it in his book. He comes back next life takes birth in a nice, wealthy family and prosperous family in India, or a devotee family in India. Myself, Paramahamsa Nitai, I was the eldest devotee with Prabhupada at that time. I had been with him 2 years. Paramahamsa, he was 2 years younger than me, Prabhupada's secretary. Nitai, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's saying that on the morning walk. And we're there thinking, have to take birth in India? That doesn't sound like a blessing. To us, it sounded like a curse, taking birth in India. You heard me this morning at class, those of you who were classes. Malaria 3 times, jaundice, dysentery, multiple, every week jaundice. I mean, every week dysentery. You had to be this far away from a toilet when you had dysentery. As soon as you, boom, you literally just sat next to a bathroom. So when it happens, when nature called, right there, dysentery. Very, very difficult, very difficult. So when Prabhupada said that, on that morning walk, we're all looking at one another, myself, Paramahamsa, and Nitai. We've got to take birth in India if we don't finish. I don't want to come back to India. And no one would ask Prabhupada. They were all panicking. The idea to take birth in, even in a wealthy family. 1975, India was not the most favorite place in the world we were traveling to. Now it doesn't matter, you know. You have your Bisleri water, you have your water, Himalayan water from the Himalayas directly. But then we had water from the well, the water from the tap. And that water, who knows what was in that water? Little creepy crawly things in your water, microscopic little living entities you didn't want inside your body. Food. Prabhupada had wanted visa send ghee from Australia to India to pay his BBT bill. He didn't have to pay money. He said, you ship ghee to India so my disciples can have nice ghee instead of diluted ghee, diluted milk, buffalo milk. You never knew what you're getting in India. And it's still like that today when they test the ghee, they test the milk, everything adulterated. I saw one photo, it went around for a while on Facebook. It showed a man, he had buckets of milk, and he's pouring water into the milk. But the caption said, how nice, he's washing the milk. This is India to this day, still going on. So anyway, finally, the morning walk's over. We get into the car. Prabhupada's sitting in the front seat. Sometimes front seat, sometimes. In Hawaii, he seemed to always sit in the front seat. In India, he generally sat in the back seat because you have a better chance of living if there's a next seat. If you're in the front seat, finished, gone. In the back seat, maybe you'll survive even without a seatbelt. Here in Australia, you have to wear your seatbelt. I even saw a sign on the expressway last night. Seatbelt detection. You don't wear your seatbelt, they fine you hundreds of dollars, you know, and they're watching you every moment. I saw a little billboard yesterday, the movie 1984. That's what it talks about. Any of you who have studied 1984, George Orwell, he predicted all this Big Brother. Everything we do, they're watching us. We've been getting watched by Krishna all the time. That we forget. We see now Big Brother, government's watching you. That we know. They stop you for everything. Actually, Krishna's always watching. Super souls, everything we do. Prabhupada said Krishna has an accountant. He's keeping track of everything we do. Krishna's accountant. Yamadutas, Vishnadutas. They're all accounting everything we do. Everything's being seen. Anyway, Prabhupada gets into the car, sitting in the front seat next to the driver, and myself, Paramahamsa, and Nitai were together in the back seat. You don't know, when I was a kid, there was one comedy show, it was called The Three Stooges. That was us, Three Stooges in the back seat. Trying to become Krishna conscious, working against so many obstacles. What we're thinking, after 5 years devotee, 6 years devotee, even though Prabhupada made it seem like so easy to become Krishna conscious, not so easy, not such an easy thing. Like that devotee asking Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? What did Prabhupada say? A moment, 1 moment. What we forget is then there's the next moment, and the next moment. Every moment that comes by, it's not that you become Krishna conscious and you're all finished. No, every moment there, again, trying to improve, to become devotee, nice devotee. Doesn't matter, this camp, that camp, North Sydney, South Sydney. And they're poking me. Ask Prabhupada, do we have to take birth in India? And I'm there, no, you ask Prabhupada. You're the one concerned. Me, I just, whatever, what can I do? But they were so concerned, poking me. Ask Prabhupada. I was the senior devotee. I never realized, I never felt like senior devotee. To this day, I'm just little person struggling to be devotee. But they saw me that way. So finally I asked. I wasn't afraid to ask Prabhupada certain questions. So I said, Prabhupada, and he's in front of us. So you're not even seeing his face, which made it easier. Looking directly in his eyes is difficult. But he's in front of you, where he always belongs. We're always following behind him. I said, Prabhupada, I said, in the morning walk, you said how we don't finish our business, We have to come back, take birth in India. Prabhupada, yes. I said, does it have to be India? He said, no, now we have so many temples all over the world. He said, you can take birth in a devotee family. It didn't have to be in India. We're like, thank you. Let it be Hawaii. Nice place, nice climate, nice everything, nice place. But that's our business. But like I mentioned, the Siddha Swarup, he had 100 disciples as Sai. He became devotee, took initiation from Srila Prabhupada, and he brought all his disciples. They all took initiation from Srila Prabhupada. But some of them, and some of the big ones, like Tushta Krishna, they had this attachment to Siddha, to Sai. Actually, give me my book. I'll read you. I have the letter. Tushta Krishna, he wrote Prabhupada. He didn't want to follow ISKCON people. Now they're ISKCON. But he didn't feel to the very back. But he just wanted to follow Siddha. He felt Siddha was a pure devotee. But these ISKCON people, they were different, little intense, maybe a little fanatical, distributing books, fanaticism. Siddha didn't like the way, Siddha Swarup didn't like the way he distributed books. By hook or by crook. Prabhupada said by hook or by crook. And just one correction, as you can see, Vishaka Saki here, she was initiated by Radhanath Swami. in Vrindavan, in Prabhupada's sitting room. First person to be initiated by Srila Prabhupada in his sitting room since Srila Prabhupada left. And she dragged me to Vrindavan. But obviously, 1972, she was in a different body, 1972, so that girl was a little cuckoo. That marriage was not blessed by Srila Prabhupada. But he knew that his servant, he was fixated on what he was doing. When Prabhupada saw that girl who I married, only time I ever saw Prabhupada saw her, he waved at her. I never saw Prabhupada wave at anyone. It didn't seem like it was an auspicious, instead of like, and her, and she waved back. I thought, oh, anyway. So this was a letter, December 14th, 1972, and I'm traveling with Srila Prabhupada now. And Siddha, Swarup, and Tushta Krishna, Prabhupada had them travel with him because he wanted him to understand, if you're going to be big preacher, you have to know how to preach. And Prabhupada would do that with many of his disciples, many of his GBC. You travel with me, so you know what to do, not that you make up your own style of Krishna consciousness. So I said this was one of my favorite letters written by Prabhupada, dictated to his secretary 3 months after I became his servant. So I'll just take some excerpt. Please accept my blessing to receipt of your letters dated November 18th, November 22nd, and December 3rd. So Tushta Krishna, you can see, he's writing Prabhupada with all his questions, all his anxieties, all his difficulties. I have heard you're having some difficulties, so I've sent Siddha Swarup there to help you. Try to keep a cool head under all circumstances. And always remember, Krishna will protect you in any case. This letter to me is right out of Prabhupada's books. This is not, sometimes people say letters, the books, they're first. And they are. Prabhupada said, everything is in my books. His conversations, books and his lectures, they're all Shastra. Then they say conversations. Conversations, they can be looked at for reference. Almost important as the books, but sometimes maybe he's saying something just for a particular person, particular time. And then letters, they say they're meant just for the person. Sometimes that's true, but not all the time. Prabhupada would say, everyone should know. So here's this letter. Keep a cool head. Always remember, Krishna will protect you in any case. You don't have anything to worry about. And he's ready to leave the New Zealand temple that he was managing because he has some disagreements. Prabhupada says that without you, in New Zealand, affair will not go on. But now you're leaving there and living on some farm in Australia. Of course, serving Krishna is a voluntary affair, so what can I say? He wanted to say, you stay there in New Zealand, you do your business. But he knew he was going to leave. So in order that you don't make a big offense, he says you do whatever you have to. What can I say? What can I say? Meanings, this is what you should do, but I'm not going to say it. Otherwise, the offense becomes bigger. If you think it's the best choice, I must agree. Imagine the compassion of Srila Prabhupada. And I saw that again and again in my own time with Srila Prabhupada. He would tell me things in such a way, I didn't even know he was telling me what to do. It seemed like a general instruction. But that's because he knows it's up to you. You have to make a choice. And our whole life is like that, not just then. Same thing now. Instructions can be there. You have to make the ultimate choice, what you're prepared to do. I must agree, otherwise you might go away altogether. This is Guru.
Anyway, we'll discuss in detail when I come in the future. Regarding your questions, in the November 18th, you have asked me if the spiritual master is ultimately Krishna. So the answer must be that if you think that way, then everyone is Krishna. This was the big nonsense happened in 1970 when they were saying Prabhupada is Krishna. Right? Your guru is Krishna, then when he's gone, you become guru, you're Krishna. This is Mayavad. This is Mayavad philosophy. So why should we think like this? Then he says, Shaktavesh avatar means a living entity, but he's specially empowered. That's what we say about Srila Prabhupada. Not that he's Krishna, but on account of his exalted position, he's honored as much as Krishna. Not that he's Krishna, he says that again. That is Mayavadi. He acts in the position of Krishna, but he's not Krishna. He's very dear to Krishna. That is explained, Yasha Prasad, Bhagavat Prasadat. Your next question, after leaving the material realm, does the devotee remain forever with the spiritual master? Yes, but I think you've got a mistaken idea in this connection. You speak of the pure devotee, that he is Shaktavesh avatar, that we should obey him only. These things are a wrong idea. If anyone thinks like that a pure devotee should be obeyed and no one else, that means he's a nonsense. See where this is going? We advise everyone to address each other as Prabhu. Prabhu means master. So how the master should be disobeyed? Others, because he's saying, Krishna is saying, Siddha Swarup is a pure devotee. But my other god brothers, they're not pure devotees. Siddha, he's first class. But these other people, ISKCON people, they're nonsense. And Prabhupada said, you're a nonsense. You think like that. Prabhu means master, so how the master should be disobeyed. Others, they're also pure devotees. All of my disciples are pure devotees. Anyone sincerely serving the spiritual master is a pure devotee. It may be Siddha Swarup or others, Siddha Swarup, not Siddha Swarup. This must be very clearly stated. It is not only that your Siddha Swarup is pure devotee and not others. Do not try to make a faction. I'm telling you this here, don't make factions. Here in Sydney, all devotees, all these people are devotees. You might have this area divided up, this area, but they're all devotees. We're to see them all as pure devotees if they're sincerely serving the spiritual master. Don't make a faction. Very important. Prabhupada will go on. Siddha Swarup is a good soul, but others shouldn't be misled. Anyone who is surrendered to the spiritual master is a pure devotee. It doesn't matter if it's Siddha Swarup or non-Siddha Swarup. Amongst ourselves, we should respect others as Prabhu, master, one another. As soon as we distinguish, here's a pure devotee, here's a non-pure devotee, what's it mean? You're nonsense. You become a nonsense. He says that, that's the second time he says that. Why you only want to be in the spiritual world with Siddha Swarup? Why not everyone? If Siddha Swarup can go there, why not everyone? Siddha Swarup will go. You will go. Shyama Sundar will go. All others will go. We will have another ISKCON there. Of course, Mr. Nair must stay. Oh no, Mr. Nair was the person who tried to take the land back that he sold to Srila Prabhupada, the Juhu land. Big, big battle. Biggest battle Prabhupada fought while he was here was securing the land that he put Radha Rasa Bahari on. And that Mr. Nair tried to steal it. Here, Prabhupada says, Mr. Nair must stay. Imagine his position. Prabhupada condemned him to have to stay here. Another devotee he condemned was one of his Sanskrit editors. He said he would have to come back for kalpas for his offense. He turned on Srila Prabhupada. He asked Srila Prabhupada, you please direct me to pure guru, new guru that I could follow, who could take me back to the spiritual world. He asked for his blessings. Prabhupada said, you have my blessing to go to hell. You take a guru eternally. You're taking a guru eternally. This is our business. It's not some cheap thing. Otherwise, don't take guru. Eternal relationship is there. So what guru we take, one has to study very, very carefully. We were so fortunate back in the 60s and 70s. We studied or didn't study, we just took Prabhupada's. So we hit the lottery. We didn't know who he was. We might know what a wonderful transcendental personality he was, but we took him as guru. And you're also all taking him as your preeminent Shiksha Guru. That means above all others, your own Diksha Guru. Your instructions from Srila Prabhupada are the most important instructions you're going to get. And one of those instructions is don't make a faction within his ISKCON. We're all working together. We're all helping one another together. We're all part of the same family. So this I ask you, you please work together. Whatever you can do to help one another, this part of the world, that part of the world. I'm traveling everywhere. This next 2 months, I'm going to another 6 countries, 20 different temples. I don't see one temple is better than another. You're all part of the same ISKCON society. So you please see things like that, and you'll progress very, very nicely. But if you think you're this independent splinter group, you won't get anywhere. Krishna, we're all working under the same. Prabhupada said, I've established this branch of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. He told me that in a dream one time, many, many years ago, when I was worrying about this branch, that branch, Ritvik philosophy, Narayan Maharaj philosophy, Sridhar Swami's Gaba, all these different things. I would go to bed at night in anxiety. And one evening he came, 4 o'clock in the morning. He always worked. And he said, we were walking in Mayapur Dham. It looked like Mayapur, different, beautiful. And he was holding my hand. And I said, how will things go on after you leave? He said, I've established this ISKCON branch of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, and it will go on in that way. And then he left. And then I woke up. Anyway, we're very fortunate. As he said, we're all very, very fortunate. We're going to have an ISKCON in the spiritual sky. That means we have to learn how to get along with one another here. Otherwise, there's no question. Because there, everyone's cooperating with one another. Even there's competition. You see someone doing better in the spiritual world, what happens? You see somebody doing better, how do you feel? Happy that they're doing better than me. Not jealous, not envious, they're doing better than me, I want to pull them down. No. How can I get to what they're doing? They're such wonderful devotees. That's how pure devotee sees things. And there's no question of going back unless you become pure devotee. Prabhupada sees everyone pure devotee. In Caracas, I told you, Mexico City, Caracas, then he went to Miami, and then Atlanta. When he was in Caracas, everywhere he was going, he was saying Shri Shri Gauranatai on the altar. 1975. He was crying every temple. this ecstasy he had, seeing. He had done it. In that 2-month trip, he saw Krishna consciousness was all over the world. People were chanting Hare Krishna all over the world. And he was in ecstasy, seeing in 10 years. He said what Gaur Nitai had done. He said to the devotees, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai have traveled very far to be with you. Who brought Gaur Nitai there? He did. He didn't say, I've been traveling around 15 times around the world to bring Krishna to you. No. He said, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, this is devotee. I haven't done anything. My spiritual master, he's doing everything. And Prabhupada said that. Devotee was one day in his room. Prabhupada, I went here, I did this, I did this. Prabhupada said, you haven't done anything. I've done it. Give credit. We say where credit is due. What are we? We're nonsense, rascals. That's who we are. Or I say dog. The dog of Srila Prabhupada. That's what you want to become. Not big devotee. No. Little dog taking his scraps. Whatever he gives us the ability to do, that we can do. So he's there in Caracas and he's giving classes, and Hridayananda Maharaj is translating sentence by sentence into Spanish. And at the end of class, Prabhupada was kind in those countries. Any questions? And girl raised her hand, young girl raised her hand. Prabhupada, I was living in the temple here, but I left. She said, because all these devotees in the temple, they're in Maya. She said it. So I left. Prabhupada looked. He said, you show me the place where there's no Maya, I'll go there. All the devotees laughed. Haribol, Haribol. And then he looked at her. He said, I see everyone here, all pure devotees, serving Krishna very nicely. He said, because you're in Maya, you see everyone is in Maya. That's, devotee sees everyone serving Krishna. If you see this Maya, this person, that means you're in Maya. It's just a reflection of your own consciousness. I travel around, that's what I see. So many sincere devotees all over the world. We were in Perth. Was it Perth? I don't even remember anymore. Melbourne. It was a youth group. Young boys and girls, about 5 to 15 years old. So I thought, how do you talk to, youngsters? They're sitting around, moving around in their chairs and poking each other. You can see it, playing. And I said, all right. I said, so, where was Prabhupada born? I started asking them questions. Well, raising their hand, all of them. Calcutta. One of them raised their hand, gave me his address. I didn't know Prabhupada's address in Calcutta. Then I started, they know all they're so nicely trained up, these children. This is your business as parents. You train them up to know everything about Srila Prabhupada. They're sponges, their brains are sponges. And if something pops up, I go on Facebook for preaching purposes. There's a lot you can do on Facebook, but you have to block out so much nonsense is there. You have to block it out. And this one thing keeps coming up. If you don't teach your children who their heroes are, they'll pick them themselves. Spider-Man, Batman. We have the greatest heroes. We don't need no Spider-Man. That's an English way. We don't need no. And that was Pink Floyd. We don't need no education. We don't. We don't need this Maya slaughterhouse education. You have to teach them Krishna consciousness. You have to put so much in their head they don't have any space to think of anything else. That's your business as parents. We hear that again and again, right? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. If I could have devotees for children, I'd have hundreds of children. He remained a speaker brahmachari. That should be good message for us. Prabhupada had children. He did everything he could, make them devotees. They weren't so interested. Prabhupada's father was a pure devotee. Prabhupada was pure devotee. He said, I learned everything from my father. So if I have any message here, it's just to encourage you all. Unity and diversity. And it's okay. That's okay. This place, hour and a half away. This place is there. This place is there. In Delhi, 20 temples. But there's unity. All have the same path. And every one of them will invite me there to tell them the same thing from Srila Prabhupada. Just like you're doing. And amongst one another, you help one another as much as you can. Whether it be in how to purchase land, buy a temple, how to do this, how to do that. We're all here together. And we're all going to be in ISKCON, in the spiritual sky. That's Prabhupada guaranteed it. Everyone except Mr. Nair. Don't be a Mr. Nair. There's many Mr. Nairs out there. Not just the one, many, many Mr. Nairs. So that's our message here today. I'm very happy you're all here. And I'm happy that, like I said, so many wonderful devotees. Class this morning, so many nice devotees. And at that class, I banged on everyone's head as well, right? How to be nice devotees. Especially Grahasta. We're all Grahastas, huh? Where's the brahmachari? Is there one brahmachari here somewhere? At the temple we went to last night, nice brahmachari. But he needs help. Has so much help he requires. But she's helping too, taking care. This is what we do. We just try to take care of one another. Anyone have any questions, comments? Right, wherever the microphone's going, and then we'll come over here.
Hare Krishna.
Hey.
Hare Krishna. We'll move. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. I have a question.